Well, this is a real treat. We're back on the Morning Brew. Love to get the week started like this. I'm Larry Arns, Amber Hendren here, and of course, here's Stacy Sacco.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Good
Stacey.
to see you.
Thank
I
you.
love the new digs.
Yeah, thank you. And
it's all for you, Stacy.
Oh yeah.
yeah, we built it for you.
There's a lot of room to go dance.
And we have a dance for us.
I
See,
noticed.
I told you guys he can dance.
Yep.
Stacy's
I've heard that.
wonderful at our networking events that I've gone to. We end up dancing salsa music because that's how we do it in the 505 here.
That's it, the 505.
I'm glad you brought Tim Nicely along.
Yeah, you know, I've been talking a lot about different groups and
Yeah.
different organizations. I thought, you know, better than just talking about lists and calendar items, I thought, let's bring somebody with me that really addresses what the issues are, what's going on in a particular niche. So niche network, actually I looked it up this morning, I can't find it anywhere, so maybe we have trademarked a new name.
You might have made that one
It
up.
started today. But the idea was that there's lots of different sectors or markets where you can go in and be a little more specific about who you're meeting. The great part about TED is that you're meeting people with ideas and people with positive attitudes, and I'm sure Tim can talk more about that.
Oh, TED is, I'm a big fan of TED, as you know. It started as an event, but it's really more of a community now. And I think one of the keys, if you're going to network with amazing people, is to go where the amazing people are. And I think TEDxABQ has done a really good job of attracting some of New Mexico's really cool thinkers to
Go
one
fishing
spot.
where the fish are, right?
That helps. It does help. Absolutely.
That's right.
Have you been to the TEDs?
I have been to one. I have. And for the uninitiated, Tim, if you don't mind, explain what TEDx is.
So TEDxABQ is based on TED.com. It's a forum where some of New Mexico's most accomplished thinkers and doers, people that have done amazing things, have 3, 6, 9 minutes to get up and talk about the things that they've accomplished. And it's designed to showcase New Mexico to the world. It's designed to showcase New Mexico to New Mexicans. And it's designed to give us all a little bit of inspiration that maybe we can do something awesome too.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. So, okay, going back to the niche networking.
Right.
So it's just more fine tuning what the purpose that you need the networking.
You know, you could go to, in particular, like a chamber meeting, and those are great, but generally they're fairly broad-based at who's coming. You've got people, small business, corporate people, people in different industries. But niche networking, you're really focusing on one particular area. And in this case, with Ted, he's got all kinds of different ways you can connect. And I think you're meeting a lot of the same people. In a way, it's people that are progressive, idea people. Because you have, what, salons? When's your next salon coming up?
We have a salon coming up on May 1st. We've got a salon in June. We've got one the first Thursday of every month through
What does that
December.
mean? A salon is
A salon is
smaller
a gathering of about 200 people at the Albuquerque Museum. You come in, you have a glass of wine, you listen to some great speakers on a specific topic. So we have a design salon coming up in June. We have an entrepreneur salon coming up in July, a tech salon in August, and September is our big event. Then we're hoping to do something on the future of work and maybe on kids. So you get a chance to network with people that are kind of in the same area, as opposed to the big event where you have people that are excited about technology, entertainment, design, TED, but also healthcare and medicine and, I mean, just the whole 9 yards.
One thing that makes it fun is at the Big TED, I can call it the Big TED.
The Big
What do you
TED.
call it?
September TEDxABQ.
The
I don't know,
September
the big
TED,
one, yeah.
okay.
The big one works.
But there's lots of breaks, and at the breaks he says, get up and meet somebody new. And that's fun. It's
It is. You
somewhat
got-
random. And
You've got 2,000 people in the auditorium, and we say, get up, take all your stuff, and when you come back in, sit somewhere different with someone different. We also have lunches that are designed to put small groups of people together. So you can't get your own lunch. You have to take like 5 people with you to get a lunch, and you have to pick your
What a
5.
great
and then you're
idea.
like-
Isn't
So
that fun?
networking for the introverts too. Hey
Absolutely.
guys, come on,
Very inclusive networking.
switch it around,
Push you a
switch it
little
up.
bit. Absolutely.
And you always spot somebody that you either kind of know or want to know.
Right.
And maybe you migrate to them and then move around. And that applies in Popejoy. That's a big space. So
It
you
is.
got to.
Really got to work to
You
make
gotta
sure
work
it
it.
all comes down.
this
But
last one, I spent a lot of time with some of the speakers too, because they come off the stage. Those are regular people, but they've just got a new idea or a grand idea, something they're presenting. And that's great, because then you can go talk to them, which I know you've been trying to make that be real too. Where
Absolutely.
You have ideas to action.
Ideas to action, yeah.
As
We've
a
been
new
working
program.
on taking ideas who have a great, or speakers that have a great idea that is somewhat executed, but really channeling people, giving people a chance to volunteer, to give back to their community and participate in something worthy. And you know, every year at TEDxABQ, I feel like people come for the speakers, But I think they leave with the conversations, because every year afterwards I get somebody that says, I just had the most amazing conversation at lunch, and that's very consistent. So.
Have you seen businesses launch out of this, or people get jobs, or success happen?
We have seen some really interesting projects take off. We've actually got a group working right now on building, redefining the GDP on a global level. That's gaining some momentum. That was presented at TEDxABQ last year. We've got a new curriculum that's being developed with kids around architecture and creating spaces, school spaces that facilitate learning. So it's mostly social projects that have a long-term impact on New Mexico, and it's primarily what we're for. There's some great connections that have happened between farmers in the South Valley and UNMH. And we have Dr. Ott Kaufman from UNMH has a curriculum now that's all across the West Coast because of his TEDxABQ talk. It's really exciting to see this stuff kind of come out of this a little bit.
There's an opportunity to be a speaker.
They're looking for
I've
speakers.
heard that.
I've heard that.
Why is everybody looking at me?
I'm looking at both of you.
Okay.
There's a deadline coming up, right?
There is, April 25th, TEDxABQ.com. It's a short application. We just want to know, what's your big idea? Why would you make a great TED speaker? And that's pretty much it. We have professional coaches. So we're not necessarily looking for Albuquerque's or New Mexico's best speakers, but we are looking for the best ideas, something that has an opportunity to really impact the global scene, that the world would be interested in hearing about, that New Mexico knows better than most places.
That's very interesting. So, and prior to the segment here, you were explaining that, like you said, you don't have to name a good speaker. You don't have to.
Anthony Robbins.
Yeah, you don't have to be Anthony Robbins out there.
Billy Graham.
Yeah, inspiring millions. You just have to have an idea, and the coaches will bring that presentation skill out.
We have some great coaches, and it's just a matter of committing your time and energy, and having an idea that you're not selling anything, that you're there because it's an idea the world needs to hear, and we'll help you flesh out that idea into a really compelling talk.
The fun part of that, when I spoke a couple years ago, I think every one of us that year started with about 20, 30-minute speech. Oh no, he makes you whittle it down to 6 minutes.
You get 6 minutes typically?
Between 6 or 9 minutes, essentially.
Which probably feels like an eternity when you're on a stage,
It's so long,
presenting,
and yet it's so
and
short,
it's so
all
short.
at the same time. But it really does. It's a gift to the audience. When you have people that have done remarkable things, when you have people like Dr. McMillan from Lannel, who's spent 20 years plus working in national security, who sees the space, and if he spends 10 weeks designing a 6-minute talk, that 6-minute talk is going to be quite a gift to the audience.
Sure
and you can learn a
It's gonna have
lot
some power.
in a day. Yeah, it's a very powerful thing.
It was fun. Right after Dr. McMillan's book, I got a chance to meet him afterwards. And how do you get to meet the head of Lannel? That's pretty amazing. My dad used to be an auto shop teacher at Los Alamos High School. He would have flipped in his, to know I'm hanging out with that guy. How did that happen? So that's great. And it's because of TED and because of that, the opportunity to meet people.
So the first event that's coming up is May 1st at the Albuquerque Art Museum. It's
Absolutely.
about ideas for a sustainable future.
Ideas for sustainability. So it's about sustainability, both environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, but also cultural sustainability in New Mexico. And so we've got a small group of curators building that out. The great thing about TEDxABQ, one of the things that I love is that we have curators for each of these monthly events, so I don't do all the work, which is great.
Yes.
But also we bring in people and give them a chance to lead in a segment they really care about. And that's been really exciting. We had a great event on art. We did one on community engagement last week where we had a
I couldn't make that one. I heard it was fun.
It was a really fun event. We had some really interesting
they were
people
dancing.
there.
It couldn't have been that fun
Yeah,
if you
it could have
weren't
been
there.
I think they were dancing.
Absolutely
I
dancing.
You were
think they
dancing.
were.
You were dancing somewhere
Yeah, I
else.
wasn't there in spirit, but anyways.
Well, a couple of impressions. First of all, I'm glad to hear that TEDx Albuquerque is more than just a one-time event. And I think most people are learning that now, that it's sustainable.
movement.
It's a movement that happens.
It is a movement, absolutely.
Yeah, that happens
well
all
said.
year. Secondly, that if no matter who you are, if you have an idea and you think it's viable, bring it out and let the TEDx folks work with you and see if that can be a presentation.
Absolutely, and I'd like to clarify. We say it's about big ideas, but it's really about big ideas that are also being put into action. So it's not something you thought up in the shower that you think the world needs to hear about. We don't necessarily. But if you thought up in the shower 5 years ago and you spent the last 5 years working on it, or the last 25 years working on it, if you've written a book about it, if you've built something because of that idea, if you're personally invested in that idea, that really helps the application a lot.
And then it's, you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. When you go to these TED seminars or when you go online to look at these wonderful speakers, they've already done the hard work for you.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, he did it, that's a great idea, we can implement that. How can I use that information to make my business run better or to make, you know, my organization more successful?
On a bit of a
and more
philosophical
cohesive.
level, what you're doing is you're taking these pinnacles of human accomplishment and you're making them simple so they're spreadable. Basically, ideas worth spreading is the motto of TED. But you're taking the pinnacles of human achievement and you're just giving them back to the community in the hopes that people will take these pinnacles and move us all forward just a little bit more.
You know, some of it's like you said, some people come out of there getting jobs or connections to other people that they start businesses with, but I think just you come away with, you've always said it, it's a feeling of hope and that there's something better and that we can accomplish that. And you really do get inspired by all the ideas, but also about just those great conversations that happen in the hallway.
It's important in New Mexico, I think, and you all are doing it here, that we really highlight the people that have done remarkable things, because we have this kind of self-identity issue in New Mexico sometimes. Where we think, you know, we're a little bit of a backwater state and we're kind of, you know, a little small compared to everything else. But there are some great things happening here, and I think if more people believe that, I think more people would step
This
out.
shows
And
Thank you.
That's
Yep,
exactly
you guys
what
are
this
inspiring
shows.
that
Anything
Thank
that
you.
can raise the level of sophistication.
I agree.
In New Mexico is great. And by sophistication, I don't mean snooty or anything like that. I mean, let's raise our game. And, and the more people that realize that there's a lot of game raisers around here, the better off we'll be.
Which brings us, I think, back to networking, and I think one of the ways we raise our game is by just collisions, by having more people interact with amazing people.
Sharing ideas and sharing your passion.
We'll look forward to seeing you guys at TED.
Absolutely.
All right, let's start working on our 5 minutes.
Bumper,
Yeah, we gotta
brought
work
some
on
bumper
that.
stickers
Tim,
for
it's
you.
Oh,
good to
thank
see you.
you.
Very pleasure. Thank you for having
Good
me
to see
here.
you guys.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Welcome back. All right, we'll talk with the folks from ABQ Newscastic in just a moment here on The Morning Brew.
Don't go away.